Alien Romulus was directed by Fede Alvarez. He's directed the 2012 Evil Dead reboot, Don't Breathe, and a bunch of different other horror movies, so he's very much familiar with horror, the horror genre. So when he was first signed on to the project, the first thing Ridley Scott said to him, and for those who don't know who Ridley Scott is, he's the original director and creator of the Alien series, or the Alien movie, the first one. And so all this he thought up in his head. Fun fact, he thought of Alien after seeing Star Wars. He was like, you know what? I can do it better. And guess what? He did. Star Wars is trash. Star Wars is trash. Don't at me. So before filming Alien Romulus, Ridley Scott told him, don't this up. And I'm happy to announce, y'all, we finally have a third Alien movie. Only 3 exist. No more. No more than 3. Just 3. Alien, Aliens, and Aliens Romulus. Or Alien Romulus. And nothing else. Now, the cast is mainly unknowns for the most part, for me at least, but I can say this cast gave a performance of a lifetime. Everyone in this movie has an amazing oh shit face. And this cast is younger, so it's like me and my group of friends getting stuck on a space station with aliens and what we would do in that situation. So it's very interesting getting a younger group and getting their perspective. The standouts from the cast are easily David Johnson, Isabella Merced, and Kaylee Spaney. David Johnson's and Kaylee Spaney's relationship in the movie is the emotional center of the movie. It's the emotional core. They're a brother and sister, so they're the ones who are the driving factor. Like, we want to see these two alive by the end of this. I want to shout out David Johnson real quick. This man has to be CGI. There's no way he's real. This man is able to express 60 different emotions with just one look. He's just phenomenal acting. I'm a big fan of him now. David Johnson, if you watch this, dude, you put on a performance. The only one I really know from this cast is Isabella Merced, and that's because she played Dora in the live action. And all I'll say about her character in the movie is that she should have stayed home with Boots. Dora is put through hell in this movie. Every moment this woman is on screen, she is done dirty by either space, the aliens, her friends, or just gravity. I don't think there's another character in this movie that screamed more than her. She should have died at least 4 different times in this movie. Just saying. Just saying. Now, the story for Alien Romulus, I love. First 20 minutes, the setup for this movie, it starts off with a heist in space. I was hooked. Honestly, I would have been sold with this idea in the pitch meeting room. You kidding me? Heist in space. It goes up there as, personally, I think it goes up there as one of the greatest heist movies in history. Up there with Ocean's 11, Reservoir Dogs, Inception, Over the Hedge. No, the director knows how to put the characters in messed up situations. There's this sense of urgency, like they need to get out. So the basic premise is that there's these space colonizers and they're trying to retrieve these cryogenic sleep chambers that float off to the planet's atmosphere. The movie feels very claustrophobic, even though it takes place in space and there's an infinite amount of space, but there's only a limited amount of space where they can breathe, where there's not any aliens around or anything that's trying to kill them or send them the wrong way. From the moment they land on the space station, there's a sense of urgency, like they need to get out, like there's something lurking behind, and you just feel this darkness. It's very eerie, and that's what I love about this movie. It takes a lot what made the original Alien work and brings it into this one, but also brings a lot of things that worked in other movies like Prometheus. All right, I'll acknowledge Prometheus for a second. It exists, all right? It exists. There's 4 Alien movies. I lied, all right? It's Alien, Aliens, Alien Romulus, and Prometheus. That's it. Nothing else. One thing I learned when I was watching the Alien movies is that I found out Ridley Scott's idea was that these aliens were supposed to be these sexual creatures. And if you go back and watch the movies, you will really see a lot of the sexual parts. The whole thing about the aliens is that they got to reproduce by molesting your mouth, and this movie really made that obvious. They really brought that point home. Just let me say that. This movie is not only scary, but it's also action-packed, and surprisingly, it's actually kind of funny. There are some funny moments and emotional moments that made me tear up. You know, I feel bad for these characters or like their situation. Another thing in the Alien movies that I love are the androids. They always get the androids right. There's something about the androids in the movies. I never know who, when the movie begins, I never know who the android is. But I always know someone in the crew is off, and then there's this verbal cue or this physical cue that lets me know this person is an android. And this time, I was just surprised. I just thought this person was special. But, you know, special. So I guess we're doing that now. Dragon Ball still got the best androids though. Visually, this movie was very pretty to look at. There's one scene in particular that really caught my attention. I won't say much because I don't want to spoil it. Because this one scene I've never seen in a movie before, and I've never seen this concept be brought up in a movie before, or just in an alien movie before. But this whole action sequence was amazing. It was insane, phenomenal. Fede Alvarez didn't want to use a lot of special effects or CGI if they didn't need to, so they focused on using practical effects if they could. A lot of things from the alien movies, you will see like the buttons, the knobs, it's all in this movie, like the 80s CCTVs, the little scanners, the little beepers, like it's all from the alien movies. It looks straight out of the alien movies, like straight out of a 80s sci-fi futuristic timeline. And if you're going into this movie expecting a lot of gore, expect it. There's a lot of aliens popping out of chest, aliens popping out of other places. I don't want to talk about it. I've seen some stuff, all right? This movie traumatized me, specifically the ending. Speaking of the ending, the final alien, the very final alien that they gotta fight off. What the I wasn't expecting it. All right, if you're a fan of Prometheus, and all I say is that you really like the ending, but the ending really didn't distract me, honestly. It just added to the tension. I wasn't expecting it. That's all. I just wasn't expecting what was gonna happen. And it was cool. It was cool. I'd rate this 5 face huggers out of 5 face huggers. Now, this movie cost about $80 million to make, and it looked phenomenal. There's not a single scene where I was like taken back. I'm like, oh, that's CGI. Nah. The entire time I'm like, yo, they're in space fighting aliens. Why are they even up here in the first place? I mean, I know, but why? Why? Now, let me compare that for you right now real quick. Fast X, which came out last year, I think, cost around $400 million. Some of those cars were floating. So Alien Romulus was one of my favorite movies of the year. Top 3 for sure. I'm not sure what else would be up there. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine will be up there. And then Alien Romulus would definitely be up there. I got to look back and see what else has came out. But for sure, top 3 movies of the year by far. It's probably above Deadpool and Wolverine right now, I'll be honest. It's a really well put together film. This is a movie. This is a horror movie. The horror genre was missing a perfect film. This is the perfect film. So if you're bored at home looking for something good to watch, head out to the movie theaters and watch Alien Romulus because this movie is amazing. Please don't let this movie fail. I need more alien movies. I need more aliens in my life. They're not visiting us, so this is the closest thing I can get to aliens. Please, I need more alien movies. Now, before I go, I got little notes from the movie theater. One good thing about living in a small town is that no one shows up to the movie theater. So I can pull out my phone and take some notes. Probably doesn't even look long. I took some notes, all right? This movie just had me sucked it. Pause. This movie had me entranced the first 10 minutes. So I have a couple of notes. So I have a couple of notes here. Pinpoints. I just wrote space, zero gravity, aliens. So take it or leave it. Go watch Alien Romulus. One funny thing I found out about this movie is that if you don't know, a lot of movies aren't filmed in chronological order, but this movie was. So whenever a cast member died in the movie, they were sent home. So the loss was felt more. So after that moment, that cast member never returned. They will never see that cast member again. So I was like, yo, this is like Bachelor in Space.
I thought you'd never ask.